in a country like South Africa, the opportunity that you might be looking for at a point in time might not necessarily present itself then. And look, man, they incrementally do one thing every day, the atomic habits. That's how you get better.
Degree is not the only path.
No, definitely it's not the only path.
Roles.
Look,
and you hear people saying that I want to move into leadership, I want to move into strategic positions.
Because as I explained my role earlier, I didn't speak about how good I used to be technically.
Yeah, people have been through what you've been through.
Sure.
There's a blueprint, they can help you.
They can help. Where I would start, knowing what I know now, I would go into the progression of a data engineer, a data scientist, an AI engineer. It starts with understanding data.
And I'm smiling because because there's no way where you said, go study this degree in... Welcome to 360 Careers Podcast. In this podcast, guys, we are speaking to real career professionals. And this is a space where we want South Africans to learn about different career paths and what it takes to get into these different careers. And today's episode is going to be fire. Our guest today is Kopano Mokoma, who's the head of data analytics. Kopano, welcome to the podcast, man.
Oh, thank you, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this chat. We've been talking about it since last year.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I'm glad finally we made it.
Yeah, no, we're here. So just to give, the viewers and the listeners a bit about yourself. So when I was looking at your profile, it was quite interesting.
Sure.
So you started your career as an engine room attendant, and then you moved to sales representative, and then you moved to logistics coordinator. And then over 10 years ago, over 15 years ago, then you started your journey in data as a data analyst, all the way to head of data analytics. So tell us about yourself, man. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you start? What made you change careers? Just tell us, how did you start this journey?
Okay, so thanks, Nico. Just had some flashbacks, man.
Yeah.
It's been some journey. Especially when you speak about the pivoting of careers from logistics to technology, the defense force and all that, to name them. But yes, I started off in the Navy. That's how I was trained. Not a discipline that you get from the Navy. That was some good start. Spent some years in the Navy, I think about 2. And then left the Navy. Completed my studies, then joined Capitec Bank as a sales representative for Capitec, front end. From Capitec a year later, I moved into logistics in States SA. The idea was to channel my path into becoming a statistician.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, given that I studied mathematics and statistics, so I just wanted a foot in. The opportunity then was to be a logistics coordinator in Ekurhuleni during the previous census that we had. I got to stats, opportunities to become a statistician did come, but another opportunity is South African Revenue Service came in. SARS, yes, the Revenue Service, to go now move into the data space.
So before SARS, right? Because I think once you move to SARS, to the data space, you've had these other careers, right?
Sure.
So you working for South African Defense Force.
Sure.
And then moving to Capitec as a sales rep.
Yes.
And then moving to this other role as a
logistic
process.
Yes.
What was your thinking process around your career at that time? What drove you to this data and data analyst?
Look, if I was fortunate enough at the right time, I would have gone straight into data and technology. But I guess the pivoting was myself trying to get hold of that opportunity that I was looking for. So going into Capitec, the plan was I just want my foot in so that I can channel myself into the tech space. Going into Stats SA, similarly. maybe I can get an opportunity there of becoming a statistician. So
all right.
it was always
But the whole time your target was always to be in tech.
correct.
And was always to do something with data.
Yes. Sure, that's how it went. And up until I got to South African Revenue Services, that's where I got into the space of data and technology, starting off as a data analyst, and then later on pivoting into becoming not a statistician, data scientist.
Yeah, do you still dream of being a statistician?
I'm still there, but look, I'm in data science, so I'm still cool. Yes.
I hope statisticians. You see now this word, statisticians.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
are getting paid more than data analysts.
Can we talk about that one? Sure.
All right, man. So now, when you started, right? So you did a BSc in mathematics and statistics.
That's correct. Yes.
Why did you make that choice? Because I think there's multiple paths, especially when you started and you knew that you wanted to be a data analyst, right?
Yes.
What was your thinking around the degree that you chose? Because, other people might choose maybe like a BCom in information systems. We still have people that studied that, or other people just study like IT, just a BSc in IT. But why specifically mathematics and statistics?
Okay, so good one, man. Once again, taking me back some good yes. So it all started in high school.
Yeah.
I was one of those nets, so to speak. So it all started there.
Yeah.
The love for mathematics started, I think, in grade 9, 10, but it just showed itself when I was in grade 10. That's where I think I actually got my first sponsorship when I was in grade 10. And then obviously then I got to start working with professionals in the industry at that age. So your likes of...
So from grade 10?
Yes. So from grade 10, I think we'll still speak about how it all happened. But within the Gauteng region, I got appointed there or picked to sort of start being channeled in the direction of becoming an actuary.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how it all started. And then from then, I got to sit with actuaries while I was still in grade 10. We'll speak about how it all happened. Obviously, then I could see this is the space I want to grow into. So that's how the love for mathematics, for technology, for data started. So,
it sounds like it's all about exposure, right? Because a lot of these careers, like your data analyst or your data engineer, these are quite new. Things like your actuarial scientist, these things, where I come from, I only found out about these things at varsity, man.
Correct.
I was not exposed to these things. So that exposure was quite important for you to actually know about these industries and what these careers are.
Yeah.
Because before that, I bet you didn't know what an actuary does. Or
I didn't.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so yes, I think you spot on them. The way it all happened was back in the years, I think the 2003-4, the industry wanted to introduce black actuaries into the ecosystem of actuarial science. Then it was predominantly
white people.
White people. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. It was predominantly white people.
Yeah.
And then the industry or your big insurance companies pulled themselves together. The likes of your Old Mutual, I know Metropolitan was one of the sponsors. Then they started going into townships to go and target or try get this talent. So I still remember I was called by the principal one moment. Metropolitan wants to go write an assessment at Soweto College, if I'm not wrong, with the rest of the picked students in Gauteng. Then I made it to the top 40. Then that's how it all started.
Ah, okay.
Sure.
Okay. Interesting, man. So now tell me,
Sure.
when you when you started your career, especially like when you were pivoting, right? Because I think like you started with a clear mindset of what is it that you want to study and which industry you want to study in. But then in the beginning, it seems like, because you went to South African Defence Force and then you went to Capitec as a sales rep, and then you did another role. What were the challenges to just going straight as opposed to just going straight into data analyst? Because I do find that you find a lot of people that are in careers, right? But they know that they are not where they want to be. They are targeting something else.
Yeah.
And it becomes very difficult once you start to just pivot. Like, what was going on through your mind when you were going through these other, jobs? Because that one was not a career. You were just going through some jobs.
Sure. Yeah, I was just going through phases to what I was looking for. Look, in a country like South Africa, the opportunity that you might be looking for at a point in time might not necessarily present itself then, and you'd find yourself having to, take what is there. Honestly, for me, much as I appreciate the learnings, the experience I got from these other industries, it was what I was not looking for, So it was also to, be busy somewhere, because a skill is a skill. I might be looking for a skill in tech and data, but there's still other skill sets that you don't need this industry specifically. You can still learn your human skills even in other places. So I guess that was that. But to be spot on with what you're looking for, the right opportunity it wasn't there at that point in time. It was just to find yourself doing something and busy with something.
It takes me to this thing that, because a lot of people get frustrated, especially when they don't get what they're looking for.
Yes.
And then you find people like sitting with degrees at home, right?
Yeah.
But I think what you mentioning is very important, especially in South Africa, that you need to take something, but it doesn't mean that you stop working towards your target, because your target is always this.
Yeah.
But what you get at the moment, you take, because I call these things transferable skills in all the roles that you do, even though they are different.
Yeah.
But somehow there's some skills that you can, transfer to the next role, like your communication skills, your organization skills, all these other soft skills that you build up that you can transfer. So I think that's very important for South Africans to know that. Don't just sit and say, no, I'm looking for a business analyst.
Yeah, that's correct. And then you're waiting
and
for
then you
just
wait.
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's it, man.
So when you started doing data analysis as your career, what were the challenges getting into that field? Like, what did you deal with? What were the learnings that you got when you started?
Okay.
Because sometimes I find that you think of a career and then you think what you're going to be doing is this, but then once you start doing that job, it's totally different to how you imagined it to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit funny. Coming from the field of mathematics, I did some complex calculus, equations, that I never really got to see in practice.
Until this day.
Until this day, I'm still to see some of the complex things that gave me sleepless nights and all that, but I guess what you learn is complexity. I think with all this mathematics careers and that, you learn how to comprehend complexity. How far can you, unpack a problem and quantify a problem? You don't necessarily go into practice and start applying some models. In some industries, it is in that way, but in some, you're just ready to be given a complex problem and use what you learned from university to sort of unpack the problem. So I guess that was one of the surprises. Nothing about the honor studies I did I saw when I joined there, but I was ready, you know. So I think that's the first one. The second one is closing the gap.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming with all these theories, and what happens, and look, man, at school they give you a data set that is already ready for the output.
Yeah,
But when you
yeah.
get into the industry,
It's different.
it's different. The goal is still the same, but to get there, you have to go through some phases. You have to do quite a lot. So I guess those are the gaps. You know, in practice, you get real life challenges. While at school, we sort of prepare data sets just for you to understand processes. Yeah.
No, man, that's interesting, because what you're saying is, I think everyone shares the same sentiment that what you studied, you only apply 5%
Yes.
of what you studied in your job.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's so true.
But I think also, like, long term, when you think about those things like mathematics and all these things, it's all just problem solving, man. I think
Yeah, it's problem solving.
every role, every job that you do, just the ability to just sit with the problem and just try different ways of solving it. The way I see, like, subjects like mathematics, it's that, like, you're able to sit for hours with this thing and try and figure it out, and it works in every career. So it's not a waste, man.
It's definitely not. I like how you just connect the dots. But yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then take us through, so you're starting as a data analyst, right? Business analyst.
Yeah, data analyst, business analyst.
Yeah.
Sure.
How did you progress all the way to becoming head of data analytics?
Yes.
Because obviously, you don't just wake up the next day and you are a head of data analyst. You went through, some challenges. You had to think differently about your career. You had to, learn some skills along the way. If someone wants to be in your position as a head of data analyst, who's starting out in their career, how do they get to where you are?
Okay, cool. I think just before the journey, it starts with the passion. I think passion will take you a long way in your career. So, firstly, you need you need to be passionate about the space. Secondly, the attitude needs to be right. If you check, I haven't really spoken about the journey yet. I'm still speaking about you as a person, So I think the mindset has to be right. You have to love it, you have to do it for the passion. Like, the passion needs to sort of be the first thing, the rest will follow. So I think that's where it all started. But getting into my career, yes, I started as a data analyst or business analyst. 2-3 years later, I transitioned into becoming a data scientist. And I must say, it happened when data science was still a buzzword in the industry.
Which year was that?
This was 2015-16.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is 10 years back. So you imagine data science 10 years back and data science now, two different things altogether.
Completely.
Yes, completely. You had to be super technical then. Right now, a lot of the community has improved a lot. A lot of data scientists have contributed into the community a lot. A lot of things are now automated and just there for your use. So I must say it was quite challenging then. All these automations and all that were a bit of a struggle. But now we've progressed in as far as that is concerned. I then became a data scientist. And fortunately, I got to also build a few data science models.
Oh, yeah.
I can recall 2 of them that were assisting with collecting debt for the revenue services.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm contributing to tax collection.
All right.
Yeah, so that was the first one. Then I moved to telecoms.
Yeah.
And then worked there for a year. Interesting. Enjoyed the work. Then I moved into the banking industry, where I head up data modeling. So that has been my journey. But I guess the journey wasn't easy. You know, it was a tough journey. You're now solving real life problems. You're now dealing with things outside your area of expertise. You know, being able to communicate with people, being able to translate everything that you're building to business. So I guess that's where the stress was as well. I think a lot of people will know that your technical people sometimes tends to like their corner
Hey.
and all that.
They speak their own language.
And they speak the language that only them understand. And now you've built this beautiful model. You have to go sell it.
Yeah.
You know, it can be all beautiful to both of us because we understand each other.
Correct.
But now you sort of now need to stretch yourself into being able to explain it in business terms and all that, which is where the stretch comes. And that stretch opens up opportunities for leadership because then the two pieces connect, tech and business, you know. So that opens up that opportunity to sort of, okay, now that you have experience in both areas, you now understand the business language, perhaps look after a function within the space. So that's how I moved into leadership within the tech space.
Okay, man, that's interesting. So I want us to give our viewers and listeners something very practical, right?
Sure.
Because I like how you described your journey. You mentioned data analyst and then data scientist.
Yes.
I want you to break down so that someone understands the difference between the two. If I'm a data analyst, what does the data analyst do? If I'm a data scientist, what does the data scientist do?
Yes. Okay. Good one, man. So I think as a data analyst, perhaps even business analyst,
Yeah.
your day-to-day looks like you understanding the business requirement. Business comes with requirements. You have to understand what is this requirement, what are we trying to achieve with the requirement, what is the bigger picture? Because with every requirement, there needs to be lineage to the business strategy. You know, it also just helps to understand why you do what you are doing. So we spend a lot of time.
All this data is to assist the business.
Yes.
Is to give the business insights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, ideally.
Is to help them translate what this data means.
Yes, and to also drive strategy with facts, you know, and facts come from your data.
Yeah.
So your starting point starts with understanding the business ask.
So then a data analyst has to at least understand both the business and the data. They are the bridge between business and data.
Perfect. So that's the connection. So you have somebody who can now translate data into what business needs, to some degree, even technically. So the person needs to be able to, okay, this is what I'm being requested. Where is this data living within your data spectrum? You know, to some degree, the expectation would be for the data analyst to be able to go into the data itself, select what they need from the data, and close the gap between the requirement and the data. So that is a data analyst.
I know we're talking about so before we go to data scientists, right?
Yes.
Because I think from this conversation, there's something that's missing, and I think I wouldn't be doing our viewers justice by not talking about it.
Sure.
So a business analyst, if it's someone that bridges the gap between business and data, right? There's another role that sits below that, which is now a data engineer.
Correct.
Because now a data engineer is different from a business analyst, right? A data analyst. Because a data analyst speaks to business stakeholders. They try to understand the problems and then they try to make sense of it so that they can have these requirements.
Sure.
Business requirements to be bold, right?
Yes.
So what does the data engineer do?
Okay, good one.
Because they work closely.
Yeah, they work closely. So what a data engineer does is data needs to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, it can be from systems. It can be data that you manually generate, you name it. It can be data coming from other platforms outside the organization. So a data engineer focuses or functions on the integration part of bringing that data from its source systems. Its source system stores data differently. So a data engineer comes in with the skills to decompose the complexity or the structures such that they are readable for the business analyst.
So now this is the more technical role now.
This is a technical role.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your data can come in different formats. So the expectation would be for an engineer to understand those formats, those structures, and also to understand the know-how, your engineering technologies that assist with the integration of the data from their sources.
Because then these sources, like they'll be using different technologies, like
Yes.
you'll be getting all this data from, a SQL database, an Oracle database,
Excellent.
a data hub, a data lake. There's all these different sources and different technologies. So a data engineer helps you to build these pipelines and connect this data.
Yes, and then sort of bring it ready for the modeler or the business analyst to come write their select statement. So think of it as translating the complexities and different languages and interpretations into one view, a structured view, where any person can plug in a tool like your SQL and be able to query the data to deliver the business requirement. So that is now the relationship between your data engineer and the business/data analyst.
That's good, man.
Sure.
Okay, so now that we've covered data engineer and data analyst, now let's move to the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist. What's a data scientist? What does a data scientist do that's different from these other two?
Okay, cool, man. So with data scientists, what we do is predictions. The CEO of the company can come and ask us, how do I look 10 years from now, given these conditions? It is for the data scientists to go into the data, look at the patterns, and provide those type of insights. So think of it as focus, and think of it as how does the future look like? If this is where the company is going, and how we are doing now, is there some correlation of some sort? So data scientists can come with that. Another use case for a data scientist could be we want to increase our sales, go into our database, go do some predictions on which clients we can market certain products to. So data scientists will go there and do and run those models to sort of bring those insights, intelligence in terms of where are the opportunities that we might not be seeing. So think of a business analyst as somebody who helps us run the company, tells us how we're doing, and the business data scientist as a skill set that now brings how do we scale the business. Where are those hidden opportunities within our processes and data? Those are the expectations you would put on a data scientist. Sure.
Wow, that was good. That was good. I'm personally learning a lot because I've always wanted someone to explain these things clearly.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like sometimes we understand these roles, but we can't really make
connect the
dots, or even just the distinction between what are the differences, and I'm hoping that our viewers are getting a lot of value out of this, man. So now tell me, now that we've spoken about that, now you head up data modeling and analytics.
Sure.
What does that mean? Like, what's your role now?
Okay.
Like, what is that role? Head of data analytics. So head of data modeling and analytics.
Yes. So the role is more about ensuring it's more strategic if you think of it. So you're now very close to what is the business ask, what is the strategic ask, where is the organization going in 5, 6, 7 years, and the head that you wear there is how does data help business reach their strategic objectives. So that's where it all starts before you even go and start looking into what is it that you need to do. You are driven by strategy, so that when you go back to the team, the work that we do in the team is in line with the direction that the organization is taking or the company is taking. So that's where it all starts, And then once you understand that, you look into, okay, if this is what the ask from business is, how does data come in? So you sort of now look into the strategic objectives for where we are going. That's where it starts. Once you now understand the strategic objectives, that's where now you move into the so what. What do we need to do? So that you don't have yourself and the team focusing on things that are not in line with the ask. So I think that alignment is very important. So that is the starting point. So your role looks like ensuring that you are aligned to what the ask is, because that also helps to protect the team, with things that just keeps the team but not aligned to what the ask is. So it all starts there.
Yeah, no, man, that makes sense, because I think with every business unit or most business units there's a business strategy.
Yes.
But as the data team, you have to make sense of the business strategy and make sure that whatever that you build aligns to the business strategy, so that you deliver the business value in everything that you guys build.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So that's where the work comes from. If the strategic objective is to increase revenue by 10%, as a data person, the question I need to ask myself is, how does data unlock that growth? What do we do as data practitioners or technology practitioners to unlock this ask? Then obviously you'll go into multiple sessions to sort of unpack now what it means for data, perhaps technology as well. And then that's how you start breaking down your strategic objectives that will narrow down to what to the team and to the individual. So now when an individual gets a piece of work to do, they need to connect the dots up until the strategic ask. I think that is very important before we even get people to start writing queries without understanding why. So the why is the most important thing as part of the journey. So my role is more of that, and then down the line it's mentoring, being closer to the team, ensuring that the work that we do as a team adheres to your governance standards, the right principles, and there's a lot of brainstorming that also happens as part of delivering the work that we do, sharing knowledge and all that, and of course, keeping each other accountable with the deadlines and all that. So that's how the role looks like.
I find that a lot of people that are not in leadership positions, sometimes they struggle to break into leadership positions, right? And as much as you can be technical, there's certain skills that you need now to actually break into a leadership position.
That's correct.
Right? But sometimes you find people stuck doing these technical roles, and you hear people saying that, I want to move into leadership, I want to move into strategic positions. How does one position themselves in such a way that when the opportunity comes, they are able to grab that opportunity, especially someone who aspires, to be in a strategic or leadership position. Just from your experience coming from that technical background and actually breaking into a leadership and more strategic position?
Look, I think coming from tech, it's I don't know, but it's always not easy. Because as I explained my role earlier, I didn't speak about how good I used to be technical. So it's a transition. And as you go through this transition, you get to realize that the only way I can actually move and succeed in this new transition is to forget everything that I know, like start from zero. Because you'll always reference things that are irrelevant anymore in the new role. So I think for me, at some point, I had to just unlearn everything that I learned and start a whole new journey in my career, because leadership was a whole new beast itself.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy transition. I must say it was one of the most challenging, most difficult transitions I had to do in my career, because I had to sort of now let go of sitting in front of data, building those beautiful models, to what do we need to do to get to what the ask is. So that's it.
What helped you? Like, what tools helped you get into that mindset that I'm technical, I'm a data analyst, or I'm a data engineer, and to help you move to the strategic role? Like, what practical things did you do?
Okay, so obviously, in most organizations, you also get help. There's a lot of leadership masterclasses, sessions that you need to start enrolling into, because it's different altogether. You start looking at things differently, and your people skills. So I think for me, the assistance was enrolling into those sessions,
Leadership,
leadership
trainings.
sessions, I think, and also getting to sit on round tables with different leaders and to understand their journey, and I think that helped a lot, because you realize that where you are is part of the journey, because you could be frustrated when you start. A lot of things don't make sense, but once you start bringing mentorship closer, it makes it easier. So I would say, enrolling into those sessions and identifying mentors, speaking to them, those coffee sessions, they help a lot. So I think for me, that was the help that I got in this transition.
Yeah. So don't just sit there and
reach out.
And say, you need to speak to people.
Yeah, go
people,
talk to people.
Yeah, people have been through what you've been through.
Sure.
There's a blueprint. They can help you.
They can help you.
Yeah. Now tell me, if someone wants to break into this data space, right? Whether it's data, we've spoken about a few of these careers now, whether it's data engineering, data analysis, data modeling, what skills does someone need to have that you think these skills are, let's say, your top 4 skills that someone needs to have to break into roles that have to do with data?
Okay. Look, I don't know if the question also has to speak to tech, or it's just skills. Is it tech and skills?
I think give both.
Both. Okay.
Give both.
Okay. So I think with the skills, I would say firstly, you have to like numbers. Numbers need not to scare you. Data need not to scare you, even from just looking at it on a PDF.
Seeing millions of records.
You need to just connect, and then the next thing is the how. Be keen to sort of go play. And where do you play? It's in your SQL Server environment, download. And all these things are free, fortunately. Even the learnings, it's all over YouTube and the internet, Just go and start learning around data, If you want to be good in data, or what tools do you need? Plain SQL. We're now transitioning into the cloud. Go and understand what it means. What is that? A lot of these cloud providers give us some subscriptions to some degree for free. Subscribe, go in, have some reference from some bootcamp or YouTube, start playing around. That's where it all started. It all starts with passion and willingness to go try things out. So I would say that would be the starting point. And again, to understand what businesses do, man. If we say we have a certain company, just go in, understand what they are doing, read some financials there and there, Yeah, but lean in. I think that's where it starts.
When I do a lot of research around demand, I talk a lot about roles that are in demand and industries that are hiring, that are looking for people. Data in general is one of the most in-demand skill in South Africa.
Correct.
Every time when you try to hire a data analyst, a data engineer, we struggle because the skill is not there.
Yeah.
How does one transition from, let's say maybe I'm a business analyst, or let's say I'm doing something technical, but I'm like, no, I want to move into data.
Sure.
Or I'm a student in university and I want to do data. You've spoken about the skills, right, around the technical skills that you need, some query languages, working with large data sets, being
Power BIs.
Your Power BIs, just being enthusiastic about working with large data sets and large numbers, right?
Correct.
But now someone has that interest. What can they do? Someone who's starting out or someone who's in a different career and now they want to pivot because they are interested in this space. What would you advise them if someone were to come to you? Let's say there's two people, one who's just starting out and then there's another person who's in a different career. Let's say marketing, for an example, something that's not tech, but they really want to transition into this data role and something that they're passionate about. What would you advise those two people?
Okay, look, I think the advice here would be, and I'm going to make it practical, where I would start, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
I'll go into a database like AdventureWorks. It's a global Microsoft database that we use across board to learn, to move data and all that. So that's where I would start. And perhaps before that, get somebody who's already in the industry. Find yourself a mentor, ask for help. I think that will also help. Let them know what you're looking for, because then they will sort of support you in the process. But that's how I would start. I would start with your AdventureWorks database. I would start with having a management, and these are all free tools in the internet. Management Studio. I'd start with creating an account with Microsoft so that I can have exposure to how the cloud works and all that. Because right now we can't keep everything on-prem. There's also that whole cloud transition. So it's very important that somebody who is new also looks into that cloud piece and understand how the cloud works. I think for me, that's where I would start. But the journey would be much more easier if you can reach out to somebody who is already there to guide you through the process. Because it's so easy to be all over the space without guidance. So that's where I would start.
Do you also think people can do it with taking a lot of maybe like some short courses? Let's say there's a data analyst 6 months course, or there's a data. Do you think those are available?
Look, definitely they are available. They are super available, and I would also, YouTube, go there, build up the understanding and the knowledge of the space. There's a lot of guidance that comes from some good videos there as well. So definitely a short course would work, especially for the person who wants to transition into the data space, a business analyst. And that's a very good entry into the space because it's not too technical, you know, and it's a very good start. And once you now understand how a business analyst work, you can now say, okay, I actually want to go into data engineering. I actually like data modeling. I actually like data science.
So
But
data analyst, it's also technical, but it's the less technical of the others.
And look, without it even being perhaps less technical, it's a good start for everyone. You know, the progression of a data engineer, data scientist, an AI engineer starts with understanding data. So I think it's a start for everyone. Because I don't understand how a data scientist can start as a data scientist without having, spent time understanding the data piece.
And I'm smiling because because there's no way where you said, go study this degree in...
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, okay. I think things have advanced so much that specializing in a specific degree for a career in data is no longer. I could be wrong, but
I haven't personally seen a very specialized data degree. They're mostly general. It's just there's BCom in something. There's a bit of data, but there's other things, but it's not.
Funny enough, one of the greatest engineers of the future that I've had an opportunity to work with in the space is somebody who studied politics.
Who studied politics?
Yes. I kid you not.
Dude, I had someone who studied political science and they asked me that question to say, hey, I want to move into tech.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
So the guy or the lady comes with a degree in politics. They start doing all these short courses.
Yeah.
And look, they don't just do, there is a connection, They go beyond just doing, man. They stretch themselves in the space. They start asking what. And look, man, they incrementally do one thing every day. The atomic habits. That's how you get better. So yeah, as I said, one of the greatest engineers of the future that I've had to work with is somebody who studied politics. So I guess perhaps I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but yeah.
But it's not a requirement. It's not like you can do without it, but it takes that passion, like you said, it takes that passion and that dedication to actually want to get into that space. But degree is not the only path.
No, definitely it's not the only path. Look,
but as someone who's like who's very young from high school, I guess like that degree gives you that foundation.
Yeah, it gives you a foundation. But I think the drive is everything, man.
Yeah.
The drive is everything. Direction is everything. Dedication is everything, irrespective of where you could have started. Or irrespective of what you studied. You can come into data. You can be one of the data people this industry have ever seen. So perhaps maybe the qualification is not like a real prerequisite for the space.
All right, dude. So as we getting to close, I want you to really just, because I know there's someone who will be watching this or listening to this.
Sure.
Who's thinking that it's tough, man, and they really want to get, like, how would you motivate that person, man? How would you motivate that person? Because I know that this data space is booming and I think it's gonna go further with AI and all these advancements. Like all companies, they need people who understand data, man. Like you said, the only way to predict the future, the only way to extract the insights from the business is through data, right? aside from, I mean, it pays well, right?
Yeah.
But please, man, motivate someone who wants to come into this space. What message can you send to that person?
Good one, man. Look, firstly, you need to be very intentional. You know, it needs to be what you're looking for. You need to put in the hours. You need to persevere, you know, and be able to wait for your time. You know, look, if things don't happen as expected, just keep moving, keep learning every day, stretch your understanding of the data. And look, believe me, when you sit with somebody who wants to come into the space, even if they haven't worked into the data space, the first thing that connects that person with the interviewer or is how you speak, your passion. You know, and where do you get this passion? By just stretching your research. You need to try things out. You know, go there, do all these labs that are into the internet. They are not easy, but you get better with more practice. You know, so I think what I would say is it's all out there. Make time for it. Be very intentional about upskilling in data. Be very intentional about the short courses and help that is out there for you to come into the space. And it will only be a matter of time before you are there. So it's not an easy journey, but it's a doable journey, honestly.
And it's rewarding.
And it's definitely rewarding once you are there. So just don't give up.
Kopano, I think this is one of the episodes where I personally learned a lot.
Thank you, man.
So I really appreciate you coming here, man. I've learned a lot today around just setting a target, and regardless of what jobs you do in between, there's a clear target.
Sure.
Navigating between, data analyst, between data modeling, between heading up, data analytics, the differences between data scientists, and I've learned a lot. And I know that our viewers and our listeners are going to learn a lot out of this video. I really appreciate you coming here, man.
Okay, thank you very much, man. It was interesting. I was excited to be here. And your questions, man, I hope they help somebody out there. And I guess sometime again you will invite me. But look, thank you.
What I'll do is I'll take some comments from the viewers, and probably like a few. The first people that ask some questions, I'll send them directly to you. I'm committing on record. So that if people really want to understand something, or they have some questions based on what we spoke about today, at least they get that opportunity from someone who's, has the experience to at least help them or answer some of those questions. But I'll definitely take the guidance from the viewers. Maybe there's a topic that we spoke about and they want us to go deeper into it.
Sure.
Maybe we touched the nerve somewhere, and people are interested in us going deeper into a certain topic. Dude, I'll be more than happy to have you back.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.